Welcome to the channel, welcome back to the channel. You have landed in living in Union County, and today we're going to be talking about the 10 things you need to know before moving to Elizabeth.
And it's very important to look through the whole video because we're not only going to give you the good, we're going to give you the bad as well. So make sure to stay through. You don't want to miss it. So before we dive into the video, so you guys get a little bit of reference where Elizabeth is located, it's going to be in the northeast section of Union County. It's going to be surrounded by other cities like Linden. It's going to be surrounded by Union, Roselle, and it is the biggest city here in Union County. And the cool thing is that it's going to be one of the closest ones to the city, New York City.
And if transportation is important to you, Elizabeth has the best transportation out of all the towns in Union County.
And the cool thing about Elizabeth, which is going to be the number one in transportation, is that it has two train stations, the North Elizabeth train station and the Elizabeth train station located in the center of Elizabeth. Not only that, Elizabeth has a bunch of different bus options that not only get you to the city, but it's also going to get you around Elizabeth, other towns in Union County. It even is going to take you to Essex County and to Newark towns as well. And a few highways that go through Elizabeth, it's going to be the New Jersey Turnpike or the I-95. That's going to get you throughout South and North Elizabeth and also into the city. You're also going to have the 1 and 9. That's a kind of a main artery here in Union County for a lot of the cities and towns in the east section. That's going to get you to other towns like Linden, Roselle, even all the way down to Cranford, and all the way down to Rahway. And it's going to have a lot of like kind of the bigger retail names when you go through other towns. Like Linden has the Linden Plaza right off the 1 and 9. And that's pretty important because even though it's a big city, those bigger amenities you're also going to find on the other towns surrounding it.
And also, it's very close to Garden State Parkway. I know that's a huge highway here in New Jersey. And we're also very close to Route 22, which is very important here because it goes through a lot of towns. And on Route 22, you have a lot of amenities, a lot of big stores like Walmart, Targets, a bunch of restaurants. There's lots to do there.
And something you also have to know is that to get into the city, either by train, bus, or driving, it's going to be around 30 to 40 minutes. Not really bad at all. And something very important here that hopefully happens very soon is the ferry. We're going to get a ferry in the Elizabeth Port section. That should be taking you to Midtown Manhattan within 15 minutes once it does happen. So you're seeing a lot of these cool new projects happening to the city. In the past few years, the city has been becoming a lot better. And by that, it has a lot of negatives as well, which another second point is going to be there's a lot of traffic now in Elizabeth. There's always been a lot of traffic, but now it's like ridiculous.
So Elizabeth has a lot of new developments. So there's a lot of influx of people coming in. It's becoming a city, okay? Maybe it's not a city like Jersey City, but, eventually I think it'll get there. So there's definitely a lot of traffic, which, it's a downside.
It's definitely a downside, and you're going to see that a lot during like the peak hours, like between 8 to 9 a.m. People are going to New York to work or going throughout the Union County or New Jersey to work, and between kind of 4 and 6 p.m. And that's going to definitely affect your commute time. Sometimes it might be an extra 10 to 15 minutes, and kind of branching off this negative as well. There's a lot more people coming into the city. It's a lot less parking as well. The city, it's always been hard to find parking in Elizabeth, but now
depends where
you're at, but kind of in the major areas of Elizabeth, it's always been hard, and it's been a lot harder because a lot of New Yorkers have been coming here. So we've definitely been seeing that difficulty in finding parking throughout the whole city,
especially if you're like in the North Ave area. I think it's a little different if you go to like the suburbs of Elizabeth. It's not going to be that crazy, but definitely if you're like in the North Ave area or like near the port or Peterstown area, definitely disaster.
and for you guys to know, kind of going to our third point, Elizabeth has a lot of different neighborhoods. And Elizabeth has, I'll mention it to you, has the North Elizabeth neighborhood, has the Elmora neighborhood, Elmora Hills neighborhood, has the Peterstown, and then Elizabeth Port, and then kind of in the middle you have Midtown Elizabeth. The only one that's very different to all the other one is going to be Elmora Hills.
And the Elmora section.
But Elmora Hills is very close to Union. And you're going to get that Union feel, very suburban, a lot of bigger homes.
Big real estate.
It's
going to be very suburban. It's going to be a big shift from the other parts of Elizabeth. Which is a cool thing about Elizabeth,
Right.
that, if you want to have suburban living, you can find it there. If you want to have, kind of like a city feel, you're going to find it. So if you want like in between, you're definitely going to find it. So that's the cool thing about Elizabeth.
And you see that like each part of Elizabeth is going to have its little different feel.
Yeah.
And if you kind of are moving to Elizabeth, you really don't know where exactly you want to be in, make sure to give us a call. I'm Luca, this is Laura, your relocation experts here. And we're dropping these kind of videos every Monday and Friday, kind of showing you exactly what Union County has to offer. And if you do want kind of to start making that big move, make sure to give this number a call any second now. We are the ones answering everything, and we'd love to help you guys out.
So when it comes to schools, Elizabeth has a lot of schools. I think it has the most schools than any other town in Union County. It has 37 schools and 8 high schools. Now it's an overall B-rated school system. But I would definitely do your research because not all the schools are rated the same.
Right.
Mostly it's going to be like Upper Academy. It's going to be rated really well. Maybe Hamilton. Some of the other schools vary. So I would definitely do the research on what the schools are rated because they're all very different. But the good thing about, Elizabeth is that a lot of them are academies and they do have uniforms. So expect that, your kids are going to be wearing uniforms.
And the thing is, like, a lot of the towns and cities here in Union County only has one high school.
Right.
You have 8 to choose from, and it's really going to depend on your grade and if you get
Right.
accepted. So, every school has little different things, little different targeted fields when it comes to education.
Yeah.
So that's very special because, you're going to get a lot of different options that unfortunately in other towns and cities you're not going to find.
And when it comes to sports, Elizabeth High School is excellent.
And it comes down to even all the sports, football,
Right.
soccer, swimming. Elizabeth has amazing
Even marching band.
Even marching band. And Elizabeth definitely has a really good athletic program. And, Elizabeth has won many championships in football. They just won a soccer championship.
Right.
So even though maybe Elizabeth, depending on the school, is going to be, on the overall grade, the high schools are amazing when it comes to athletes.
And they all share the same like athletic program.
Yeah.
So just because you go to one high school doesn't mean that, you're going to have like 8 different athletic programs. So when it comes to the affordability factor, Elizabeth's definitely more affordable than the other towns. One family home can range up to $433, and it has the most sales also compared to the other towns as well.
And like towns next to Elizabeth, like Union, you're gonna find properties there for a one family around $520.
Right.
You go to Roselle Park, you have them at $490, Roselle $450. So you're definitely getting that affordability factor. And the really cool thing about Elizabeth is that you're gonna find a lot of different kind of real estate. It's been amazing investment opportunities here. You're getting a lot of multifamilies, a lot of different styles as well. In that Armora Hill section we spoke about today, you can find one families even getting up to the 1 million. So, depending on what part Elizabeth is you're going to be at, depending on the affordability and what you're going to buy. And it's pretty cool because we've been seeing in the last few years, especially a lot of new constructions. You have a lot of multifamily new constructions hitting the $1 million, depending on what part you're going to be in. But it's really cool. And kind of branches to the next point is that Elizabeth has been a very developer friendly. You've been seeing a huge developments throughout the whole city. A lot of big condos,
Especially by the port area.
The port area has these super nice townhouses right off the waterfront there.
Right.
And if you're going to kind of on the 1 and 9 highway we spoke of before, right next to it you're going to have the New Jersey Walk, which is a huge development, over 200 units, over 3,000 I think it's way over 3,000 square feet of retail names in the bottom as well. And that development there, it was an old hospital that's been abandoned for years. And because this boom of new people coming here, they decided to tear that all down and build these super nice condos. And right next to the train station of Elizabeth off Broad Street, you're gonna get the Venti new luxury apartments.
Yeah.
These is also over 200 units, has also a lot of retail stores at the bottom. And it's super cool because you're seeing that it's being targeted for those commuters, and it's right next to the train station. You don't need to walk. It's right off Broad Street, which is also a main kind of street here in Elizabeth. You're going to find a lot of mom and pop shops, retail names, and a lot of stores as well.
Right.
And it's nice. It's right next to Union County College as well. So you're seeing that a lot of the towns, a lot of the places here in Elizabeth have been getting these new construction buildings.
Right, and also that Da Vinci is also in walking distance to Morris Ave, and you're gonna find even more restaurants, even more things to do.
And it's pretty cool that you mentioned that, because the next point is like restaurants and things to do in the city. That Morris Ave is gonna have a lot of the Hispanic culture,
right.
A lot of Colombian restaurants. And it's nice to get a mix throughout the city,
right.
Because on Broad Street, it's going to get you to Elizabeth Avenue, and that's going to be like kind of the business district of Elizabeth. It's going to be a long strip, pretty, I think over maybe 2 miles, that will get you to a port as well. But you're going to find a lot of culture as well, a lot of Hispanic, a lot of Italian, a lot of Portuguese, a little bit of everything. And it's nice, you're getting that kind of feel in the city. And in that area, it's going to be kind of Peterstown and Morris section. Because if you go to kind of North Elizabeth, you're also going to get a very big Portuguese and Brazilian feel. And you're not going to get as many things to do, but like it's nice to have kind of a lot of things throughout the whole city.
And it's close to the Newark airport.
Right.
It's close to the mall as well. So that's definitely a plus. And besides all the restaurants, you're also going to find a lot of nightlife in the Morris Ave section. Near the Morris Ave section, you're going to find Barcode, which is probably one of the biggest clubs here in New Jersey or here in general.
Right.
It's huge. You guys have to check it out. And then you also have Chupitos.
Right.
And then you also have Lobby, which is located in the North Ave section.
North Elizabeth section.
North Elizabeth section. It's also a big nightclub. And then in Elizabeth Ave, you're also going to find also smaller nightclubs and bars. There's always something to do in Elizabeth.
And, we wanted to specify that because a lot of places in Union County are not going to get this nightlife feel. And everybody kind of goes to Elizabeth when they do want to go for a little bit of the nightlife.
A lot of people from New York as well.
Right. So we're getting that kind of community in those parts of Elizabeth. All right, we're back. Camera died. Gotta do it the next day. But to get on the video, we're in the next point is going to be cleanliness of the city. Since the city is kind of big, it's a city, and there's a lot of residents, over 130,000. There's going to be certain areas that are not going to be as clean as others. Mainly in the section in the business section there in Jersey Avenue and Elizabeth Avenue. You might find some dirt, in the port area.
Broad Street as well.
By Broad Street, it is what it is. It's a city, and unfortunately, in those areas, you're not gonna find that much cleanliness. But if you go to like the Memorial Hills we talked about before, you're probably not gonna find any dirt around there or any garbage around there. It's gonna be a lot more clean, a lot more suburban, and where you're gonna find more of the maintenance. What maintenance needed is kind of where that city life is at.
So besides the nightlife and the many downtown areas that Elizabeth has, you're also in close proximity to the Jersey Gardens Mall, which is the biggest outlet mall here in New Jersey.
Right.
And you also have like a lot of parks, Guayanango being the biggest one. It's not in Elizabeth, but it's like 5 minutes away from El Moro section.
It's like right next door to Elizabeth.
Or maybe less. You also have Matana Park, which is a smaller park. I believe there's like a skate.
Yeah, the skate park there as well. So you're gonna have those two parks as well. You're gonna have a lot of other little ones like Kellogg's Park and North Elizabeth, and you're also gonna have, like we mentioned before, that Elizabeth Ave section. You're gonna have a lot of things to do there as well.
And the marina.
You have the marina there. You can go boating, you can go fishing. It's a huge marina. And that's kind of one of more of the activities besides the nightlife and restaurants. Right. Because Elizabeth is, it's the biggest city in Union County, so you're going to get a lot of little things to do throughout the city as well.
And by many things to do, Elizabeth also has a lot of annual events. Since it's very diverse, it has a very strong culture there. So you're going to have the Portuguese parade, the Puerto Rican parade as well. What else?
You have the Italian parade as well.
Yeah.
You have the Cuban parade. So you're seeing that kind of community throughout
it's very multicultural.
And like I mentioned before, in the North Elizabeth section, there's a lot of Portuguese culture there as well, and Brazilian. Mm-hmm. You also have the Tour of Elizabeth, which they do once a year, and it's like a bike tour. And a lot of people get on their bikes. The police cuts a lot of the roads, and you kind of go through the whole marina. You go through the whole Elizabeth, and it's really cool if you're new to the city to do that. If you get the chance to do that, because you're gonna discover a lot of things from the city. I know when I did it, I found out a lot of cool things that I even know before, and it's pretty nice that, you know, in the community, even though it's like a bigger city, they still try to keep the community very nice and tight.
And they also just had the 5K run with the police station. So like he just mentioned, you know, it is a big city, but you know, you can also have it feel like a small community as well.
And it's really nice that they do that. And even though we are not going to get maybe the suburban feel in a lot of towns, in a lot of places of Elizabeth, and those other places that you are gonna get the suburban feel. If you do live in kind of the Peterstown area, you're gonna get a lot of the cultural community events. And if you are looking to move to Elizabeth, you know, make sure to give us a call. You know, we hit on a lot of good information today, and this kind of give you a quick rundown of what Elizabeth has to offer. Until you're in it, you're really not gonna experience it 100%. So make sure to give us a call. Not only we're realtors here, but you know, we're locals from Elizabeth for a very long time, and we'll love to help you guys out. Give this number a call. Make sure to give us a call. And if you're not ready yet, like I said before, make sure to check out all videos. Leave a comment below. We'd love to help you guys out.
How about that?